Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the video where I talk about all the series. I found that my 2024 reading was packed with series and it was honestly my best reading year ever. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the series I plan on prioritizing in 2025. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. All the things. So like I said, we're talking about series. So now for me, when I think about series, I kind of have a specific strategy. There are certain types of series I love to binge, and there's other types of series I love to just read really slowly. And I'm going to talk about both of those series today because I enjoy them for different reasons. I think I'm going to start with a series that I'm kind of ongoing with, and then I'm going to end with my potential series I want to binge. So here's my first category of series, is these ones. So these kind of big epic worlds, whether they be fantasy or science fiction, where I just like to immerse myself and slowly read these books. And the perfect example of that is the realm of the Elderlings. And so I am on Fool's Fate, the third book in the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. I just love these books. This is the third series where we have returned back to Fitz from the original trilogy, and I just really enjoy his character. I enjoy what's been going on. Like the larger plot arc of this trilogy I've been enjoying, and I feel like I'm ready for the conclusion book, and so I'm definitely going to be reading this year. Another book I know I'm going to be finishing this year because it was my favorite book of 2025, and that is the Passage series. So I read book 1 and 2 last year, and now I'm going to finish it out with The City of Mirrors by Justin Cronin. You guys, I can't say enough about this series. I absolutely love it. I love a good pandemic, epidemic sort of book. It has like an interesting take on like maybe vampires, zombies, creatures. Creatures are involved in this. It is so entertaining. And since it's the third book, I don't want to say too much more than that, but it has a big cast of characters, a big scope, but really I'm so very interested to see how Justin Cronin lands this plane, lands this story, because I've been loving it. Okay, the other series I am just meandering through is the Expanse series. So I read the first book, Leviathan Wakes, last year, and this is all by James S.A. Corey, and this is the second book called Caliban's War, and it sounds like it just kind of picks up where we were left off in the last book. And we're following a couple main characters. Our Captain Holden is one of the main ones, as well as a police detective, and the police detective was stationed out on the belt, so the asteroid belt. That's where humans have also inhabited, but they're still in the inner planets like Mars and Earth and all of these things. So the scope of where humans have settled has grown, but there's problems. There's problems, and they get addressed in that first book, and how it ended was so very interesting, and I'm curious to see where this picks up, because this is like a 9-book series, so I'm not even sure where it's gonna go from here, but I'm really excited to work my way through it. So those series, those are my favorite to just meander through. Now I have a couple other series that I have started, so I wouldn't consider these series that I'm planning to binge, if you will, but I would love to kind of binge the rest of the books. Like for instance, this book, Assistant to the Villain. You guys, I read this in December, November sometime, and I really enjoyed it. It was so much fun. It's by Hannah Nicole Meyer. I think this is like her first book, like her debut novel. This is just a very like cozy, campy, it feels very like medieval knights. There's a villain. There's our main character of Evie, who is in need of a job, and she goes to work for the villain, right? And it's just funny. If you vibe with the humor, you'll love this book. If you don't, you'll just bounce right off it. I feel like it's a love it or hate it situation, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm planning on picking up book 2 because it's already out. It's like Associate to the Villain, something. And then the third one comes out in 2025. So I would like to finish this. And so this is definitely a priority series for 2025. As is this one. So I also read the first one in 2024. I read Belladonna, and I have Foxglove, and Wisteria is out. I just wanted it in paperback, so I haven't picked it up for myself, but I can get it from the library first. I want to finish the story of Cigna and death and what is going to come of all of that, because I just really fell for the characters in this book and the story of the first one, and so now I'm curious what's going to happen next. So that's a series I'm working on. Another series I was surprised by, and I talked about this in my latest TBR video, is I read this in December, House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. This was one of my picks for my TBR game, and it was just really fun and surprising. And it's a book that involves fey creatures, it involves crow shifters, and there's a romance. It's a romantasy series. It's 5 books. So far, so good. I really enjoyed this first one, and I enjoyed kind of the scope of the world, and what they were trying to accomplish was very interesting. The magic system was really interesting. And so I want to just see what would happen next. Hopefully I like where it's going, but I really like the characters, so that's a priority. All right, you guys, it's time for me to finish this series. It is time for me to finish this series. I'm ready to kind of know what this is all about. I've been through kind of the first half, and it felt really pretty YA. It kind of shifted in that green book, the Heir of Fire book, and now I'm in Queen of Shadows, and I just kind of got stuck there, and I want to finish this series. It is a goal I have set for myself for 2025, is these 4 books, is I want to finish it. I almost said really enjoyed. I've mostly enjoyed our main character in this book. I feel like she's grown on me, and that's important, and I feel like it'll only get better as things happen, and so I need to finish Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Another series that is more high epic fantasy that I don't feel like I could binge. So I'm about to get to the books that I want to binge for the year. This is not necessarily one of them, but because it's part of a reading challenge, I do plan on reading a lot of these books because I'm about halfway through this first one and I'm enjoying the world. I'm enjoying the crafting of this story, and that is Malice by John Gwynne. And so this is the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. This is book 1 of 4, and it's definitely epic high fantasy. Lots of politics going on, trying to understand where everybody fits, who's on which side, because this really is a battle of the gods. And that hasn't really happened so far. It's just setting up for this idea that there's these 2 main gods and people will fall on either side, good versus evil sort of idea. And you don't quite know of this huge cast who's going to be on what side, and I feel like that's going to be the fun part. And so I'm definitely getting attached to some of these characters. I'm definitely wondering what their plot arc will be. Some of them seem good, but I'm just curious. I'm curious where they're going to go. So I do plan on reading this entire series this year because of the read-along. But let's get to my favorite part of series reading, which is the ability to binge a series. Now, I can't always predict which series are going to intrigue me during the year, because I feel like this is what happens. Like last year, I read the Cruel Prince series by Holly Black, and I just loved it, but I was just curious at that point. And then later in the year, I read Cassandra Clare, The Infernal Devices, all at once. I really enjoy doing that. So my main trilogy that I'm really wanting to do that for, I have kind of 2 here that I have at least the first book. This one I have all 3 because I just got them off of Pango, and that's the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I've heard such good things about this. It's a YA fantasy series, which, as you can see, that's actually the ones I tend to want to binge. I just find them very readable, very entertaining, and unique in the sense where, like, this takes a lot of my brain. This will not. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely drawn to these when I'm in different reading moods. And so I want both. I need both. And so this series, though, has a lot to do with a carnival, I think. There is some sort of tickets that has to be earned. I actually don't really know. I think it has to do with sisters, though. Sisters, carnival, some sort of ticket thing. Yeah, that was a great explanation. Sorry about that. But I do want to read that story. Another one that just intrigues me, and I picked up this book recently, and it's not a new book, it's not a new series, 2013. And that is These Broken Stars by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner. I think this is a trilogy. Yes, this is a trilogy. I'm not quite sure what the trilogy is called, but it's like a young adult sci-fi trilogy. And it sounds like there's like a spaceship that crashes, and then they're on a planet and they have to survive. A lot of the vibes that I was getting when I was reading the back of this book are things that draw me in, like a solid romance plot, but yet a fun adventure story, and in this case, an adventure story on a different planet. I feel like the hard part about predicting which stories I want to binge is this first book. I don't know if this first book is going to do it, but if it does, I'm giving myself the freedom and space to just binge it, to binge the series. So you guys, I am so excited. Just looking over there, looking at my couch, looking at all these books, I'm just really excited to dive back in to some series I love, to continue some series that I just started, as well as anticipate some series that I think I will binge and just love. But again, I'm open to all things, including, I think I forgot to mention, the Fourth Wing series because Fourth Wing was my first book of the year and I really, really liked it, you guys. I have a whole reading vlog where I was just kind of setting up my reading life, which I can link above. But then I picked up Iron Flame pretty much right away and have finished that book. And so the third book in that series is also on my list. I just don't have any of the books. I didn't think I would like Fourth Wing, so I never bought it, and I've just been reading it on my Kindle and I liked it. But anyway, those are my priority series. I'm so stinking excited. Let me know down below if you are a series reader, and let me know some of your favorite bingeable series, because I'm always on the lookout for good series. But if there's nothing you necessarily want to say, which is totally fine, and you want to leave me maybe an emoji to let me know you're here, let's do a frog for assistant to the villain, because I like, what's he called, Kingsley or something in here. It's really fun. But leave me a frog emoji. But otherwise, that's what I have for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and you guys, I'll see you in the next book video. All right, take care.